Hi guys, so I'm posting this video trying to see there's got to be somebody who's out there on YouTube who watches like other people's channels who actually knows what they're doing. So I'm hoping that person can find this video. Um, so I can't stress enough. So I've been working on a project where I have a drone, and yeah, I know you can already see something weird happen, which I don't know why that is. But I've been working on a drone project using an MPU6050, trying to get it to do some code so that it trying to write some code for it using Electronic Cat's library so that I can pull gyroscope and accelerometer like this. More on that in a minute. I've tried so many different chips online. I have tried Amazon, I've tried AliExpress, I've tried um, Mauser. So many problems with everything. So let me explain the timeline. First problem, I first got the chip from AliExpress. Guess what? Starting to spit out random data, just like this, except it was a lot more absurd. Um, I did some more research, and to cut a long story short, I realized that the chip I had bought was probably a fake, and that the one I bought on Amazon was also probably fake because the chip hasn't been manufactured in a long time. Here I am running this code with an Adafruit thing directly from Mauser, which is a top electronics company. So you'd think what they're selling is legit. And I got it from their breakout board. Um, I thought I had the link up here, but anyways. So I'm running this code, and you can see if I rotate the X, that watch what happens. See the X value go up? Yeah, and see how it sticks? That's good news, right? Now, if I put it back down, it goes back down. If I change the Y, we get the Y. Here we can go in the negatives, right? So what's the problem? Let me tell you what the problem is. First starters, there's a massive value on this side, which is 32,000 roughly, which is probably the acceleration of gravity. Why? I don't need all you dumb people out there saying, okay, then just fix it. Y'all don't understand. I don't want those type of people even watching this video because been through those. So many people out there want to think they know what they're talking about and don't. Y'all are dumb, okay? And I'm not talking to anybody specific. I'm talking to people who just tell me, oh, you just have to divide it by a certain value. No, those people are retarded. You don't seem to understand. I'm using a library. Hello, the Electronic Cats library, which has this include name. So it does all the work for you, okay? Um, yeah, I had a software engineer who was gonna just use AI to fix it. Wanted $100 an hour. Um, what an idiot he was. Didn't even know how to. Didn't wasn't even educated on anything. Old guy, probably used AI his whole life. Anyhow, off topic. So this value should already be fixed because the library does all the work, and you can already see I'm calling gyro offset um, for all three coordinates, and then I do the calibrate. The reason the calibrate's after these is because it says fine tune settings offsets with less loops. Oh, sorry, no. If you look at the gyro, um, it says fine tune after setting offsets. Um, and of course I can put it up here, right, and I'll get the same result. So again, I definitely have the pins hooked up correctly. I've checked this dozens of times. I've hooked up multiple MPUs. I know what the SEL pin stands for. I know about these acronyms and abbreviations. I know about all that crap. I'm using an ESP32. I'm using int pin on 18, which I'm not, I set it here, right? And then I do a pin mode on the interrupt. The Adafruit library, you don't specify the int pin. And the Adafruit library didn't give me values like this. So I want to show you something interesting. So these values, look, it went from negative 22 to 12 to 44 and negative 28 to 104. Horrible values, right? It's very inaccurate. However, as shown, when I hold it like this, when I'm actually tilted, it does give good data. What is so odd about this is the fact that, check this out, I'm printing the AX, AY, and AZ. The accelerometer values. Look at this function call. The first parameters are AX, AY, and AZ. What are these? Accelerometer z-axis, the Y, and the X. Very interesting, right? Now, these are the raw values, so I don't know if they have a method that can like fine tune that, using like sampling or whatever. However, why look at the acceleration. This is not acceleration. When I tilt it, it brings up gyroscope. You want to see acceleration? Oh, I'll show you acceleration. I'll put on the gyroscope, right? I know this is confusing, but I'm pretty sure they have the gyroscope and accelerometer values mixed up. Watch what happens when I put in the gyroscope. When it boots up, and again, I'm not touching this when it's doing its thing, just letting it be, right? Look at this. This is very important. Connected to MPU. Okay, so these are the values. You can see they're much worse than the other ones. When I tilt it, look what happens. See the 1100 jump up? See that? I'm still holding it up. Now look, it's jumping back down. Now, do you see? It's jumping back down. When I rapidly move the thing, look what happens. Very large values. So they have the accelerometer and the gyroscope backwards. Okay? So now I want to show you something else. Now I was trying to read it and see now this was also very, very, very interesting. If you look at the read byte, if you look at the actual code when it calls get motion, so if I control click and I actually go into the actual C++ file, not the header file, then we can actually see right here. We can actually see that it calls this this class a function of a class is a method. So it invokes a method and it passes in the MPU raw accelerator out. And if you look at this, it expands to 3B. Well, let's go to the data sheet that has the registers, right? Sorry, this one right here. And if you look at the gyroscope, no, sorry, because it was trying to read accelerometer. If you look at the accelerometer X high output, 3B. So I have a genuine chip from Adafruit that I ordered off Mauser. It's pulling the gosh dang accelerometer X. Again, we'll go back here. Accelerometer X out high. Raw value, right? But that doesn't matter. And it's doing that at 3B. And again, if we go to here, you can see 3B. And this is somehow not accelerometer, and it's something else. What the heck is going on? I am dumbfounded. Oh, and yeah, in case you guys didn't realize, I did try the set device ID to change it from 68 to 69 chip ID, because the ADO pulled high and low can change that, I did try messing with that too. Per somebody helping me, Electronic Cats. Electronic Cats has not been of help. We've been rambling back and forth. We've been getting nowhere. We've been trying everything. The very end, I asked, hey, oh, and this is weird too. Look at this random thing that blips across the screen. Now, I know this is Unicode. I don't know why it blips across the screen. Maybe one of you guys can help me. But somebody explain to me what the heck's going on. Because I can't seem to get the MPU chip to work. And I have legit been working on this for a month. I've been ordering parts, waiting for them, trying the new ones when they get here, trying different codes. I tried the Adafruit library with the Adafruit chip because I'm using a genuine Adafruit chip, so why would I not try the library, right? And the library don't give me no useful results. So again, let me go to this GitHub right here, which has the Adafruit, right? Let me do that. Let me scroll down. No, let me not scroll down. Let me go to examples. So there's a basic reading example, right? Basic readings. So this is their basic readings. So if I copy this and I'll just paste, and I'm not going to touch anything, just upload a monitor, right? Let's see what happens. Now I do need to double check the serial because I'm on the 115/200 band and I'm using platform INO, so sorry, platform IO. You can just double check that this is all in accordance. So you see this rotation is extremely small. It's 0.08. You can see I just rotated the machine and absolutely nothing happened. Now, the data is moving too fast to see, so we really need to update the delay to like 1200. And then I don't know why they do 500. Like, how is anybody supposed to logically make sense of that? So again, let's not look at the code, or at least not right now, or maybe not even at all, because well, Adafruit wrote the code as an example. Okay, so here we go. So you can see it's reading data. This gives you a good idea. The numbers are very similar to each other. The acceleration 7.4 meters per second squared. I think it's kind of like the acceleration of gravity. So if I just rotate this chip willy-nilly, like I'm throwing this chip around, you can see the acceleration on the X is changing a good amount. But now let it stabilize just a minute, 0.08. So I'm going to rotate the chip up on the X. Look what happens to the values. Absolutely nothing. Again, we're going to go the other direction on the X. And you know what? Frick this. I'm just going to turn the whole device upside down. So this is what the entire device, the MPU6050 breakout board chip thing, upside down. So you can see the values are basically the same. So we're not getting anywhere. So yeah, if any of you guys have any ideas, greatly appreciated, because I have tried absolutely everything. And it might be something simple. It might be something not. I have no idea. But there is something else I'd like to show. There's a very interesting piece of code, and it prints. What the heck is going on? Let me get back to what I had that I think is the correct workings. At least, because I keep on getting closer and closer, but I'm never actually there. Let me see. Okay, so this code right here. So if I upload a mod of this code, basically what it does is, the first thing it does is it uses the electronic cats library, and it has this, a wire loop, which calls MPU.getDeviceID, which is a function inside of the electronic cats library, which is this include. So it uses that. That returns chip ID 34. And then I have a different one. This does a for loop, right? And I know you're not really supposed to do wire.end and begin. You're only supposed to do it once. I mean, again, we can just remove that if it makes you feel better. But what we do is I begin the wire. What I do is a for loop, right? From I to 127 bits or whatever, which is the max thing you can have. Again, I don't know what to call it. I'm not exactly experienced in this. I'm just trying my best to explain it. You can see on this one, it loops through numbers, or basically what should be interpreted as chip IDs, and it calls the wire.end transmission. Now, when this function returns, if it returns 0, it means it was successfully connected. So that means whatever value I was, in this case 68, it's successful. Now, if you look up what the genuine chip ID for an MPU6050 is, it's 68. So now bear with me. Then that's what this code kind of here does, you know. So if you can communicate using chip ID 68, now we're going to try something else. We're going to write to register 75, which is the who am I register, and we're going to request using the chip ID again, 68, the chip ID, which is, well, it returns 68 using wire.read, and it requests 1 byte because that's what the who am I is. So everything's in order. Now, I understand why this is 68 and this is. It's because they're not bit shifted. If you bit shift, it's 34. However, why is it that I can communicate using the quote chip ID if it's not actually the chip ID, because I have to bit shift it? I have to bit shift it because there's 1 bit of information in that register that's not that shouldn't be there. So does that mean when it's bit shifted that the actual chip ID, or the who am I, is 34? Well, according to the data sheet again, that the chip ID in register 75, the who am I, actually is supposed to return 68. So if the return value is supposed to be 68, and using my for loop and the wire.end transmission, I can successfully communicate to the chip using chip ID 68, which is the actual chip ID according to the register, according to the data sheet, why is it that the electronic cats library is checking for chip ID 34? And again, you can change the address of 68 to 69 if you pull ADO low, or if you pull it high. I forget what it is. I think it's by default low. So, very weird behavior. If any of you got any idea what the heck's going on, I'd love to know. Thank you.